Episode 643 is what it is. We had a switch over from what's launching when. Welcome to the Working Class Bowhunter Podcast. Curt Geyer speaking. Co-hosting,
Jordan Jepson.
Young Boy, a.k.a. Boner in Church, a.k.a. his dad can't back out of a driveway.
I didn't say that one.
Pull out of a driveway. You didn't say that?
That was Brandon.
Oh.
Everyone thought it was me, though, so
Well,
I'll take it.
Hey, Jordan.
Hello.
Joe Humphreys from Big Tine's in here.
What's up, boys?
Maybe the most reoccurring guest in WCB history at this point.
They keep on having me back, and I never can remember the last one, so let's do it again.
Daryl Cherry, what's up?
Hey, we got to drive back tonight, so remember this.
We're behaving tonight.
If we're doing the drinking, you're doing the driving. Is that mic stand uncomfortable for you?
It's a little tight.
You want me to switch you up?
No, you don't have to do that. I'm good.
I'll help you out when we get up. And then sitting in on this one,
I'm here.
Mr. Blake Garrett, what's up?
The Blake Garrett.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good, man. It's been a long time coming to get you in the studio.
Yeah, it's awesome. Awesome place.
Thanks for being here. Thanks for coming. Thanks for making the haul.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Boys, what's up? What's new? Big Tine. Pears all the craze.
Oh, there's a lot that's new, man.
Peas and tubers.
Lick bricks.
Where do we even start at on what's new?
How is Doug not here for the lick brick thing?
We got to bring it back.
Maybe he'll waltz in. We'll make him sit on
He
mic
still hasn't
6.
licked one officially.
That he is admitting.
Yeah. No, there's a ton of stuff. I mean, we're kind of coming out of turkey season now, so everybody kind of strays away from the deer for a couple weeks, and then you fill your tag or you blank, and it's, oh yeah, we gotta get back to the deer.
Yeah.
So like right now would be the time for, if you're putting borderline in, if your soil temp is 70 degrees, get that ready to go, get those soil tests done, and be thinking about those fall plots. So we came out with 2 new blends this year. Honestly, both of them are stellar. Daryl's going to go deep into the paint on,
Which we want him to.
on the percentages and the reasons for what's in there, but both of them, we've tested them. Absolutely amazing blends.
Yeah, I'm excited for these, and let's break those down first, because I don't get to participate in any lick bricking, Daryl.
Sure.
I don't get to lick any bricks. Well, I can do it personally, but my deer can't. Actually, we did a read for Big Tine, a couple episodes ago. It pairs all the craze right now is what I'm hearing.
Shout out to the pair.
And respect the pair. And Doug and Eric are all up in this pair stuff, and I don't get to have any pair fun. So can you make me some pear sticks, pear scented sticks?
I got cherry sticks for you.
I want a piece of this pear. Can you infuse pear flavor into my Big Tine plot seed?
I can make you a pear spray.
Okay.
He can't do that. That's how he sold me on the wax stick originally. He made it on his kitchen sink, you made it on the stove, didn't you?
On stove.
I want a pear spray to enlighten the studio with some Big Tine pear scented aroma.
I can make you. We did this at a show. I can make you get one of those infusers like you have in your house.
Yeah.
We'll fill it up.
Okay.
With pear.
Pear's all the craze. It's going to smell like giraffe hide and pear in here next time somebody comes into the studio. Thank you for that. I just want a piece of the pear.
Well, we brought you a bag so you can at least smell it.
Yeah.
You can't use it, but you can stick your nose in it.
I felt like it was sent to me out of spite a little bit. Jordan, you want my bag of pear?
I do. I can use it.
You can have it. You really sent it for Jordan, didn't you?
Yeah.
So for people that don't typically listen to every episode, you're wondering where the fuck we're going with this. But supplemental feeding is illegal in Illinois still. And that actually got brought up on the episode with Jimmy John about how gay it is.
Yeah. Yeah, he'll tell you all about it.
Yeah. Well, he's more politically involved than I thought. And he's like, yeah, I can't believe governor, and he knew the guy. He's like, didn't pass it. And he's Republican.
Well, it's been so close. I mean, when it went to the governor's desk, there was no reason for it not to, but they've got their own.
We can get into that again at the end of the episode or whatever, but selfishly, I just want it for trail cam pictures.
Talk about what you can do, man.
Yeah, let's talk about what's going on with this new stuff, Daryl. Why don't you give us a full-blown college degree breakdown?
All right. Very good. Got it.
Yeah, you're right.
So peas and tubers. we've had a lot of good luck the last probably 3-4 years with testing that. And the concept with that one is we've got 2 different types of peas in there.
Mm-hmm.
We've got it's technically a spring pea, but it's a forage pea, so it's going to jump up quick and it's going to give you some early season, because a lot of guys, they want something that's going to be their early archery, early part of the season. If they're, instead of just planting a solid field of brassicas that they're going to have to kind of wait on.
Mm-hmm.
So we've got the peas, with the spring peas, they're going to jump up. You're going to have some winter peas in there too. They're going to jump up, and the deer will go ahead and eat them, but they are going to have a better life, into the winter if they're left to grow, if they can make it.
Yeah.
But the deer don't eat them up. So you got two different components that are going to jump up and give them some forage early, and then you're going to roll into all the different types of brassicas.
Okay.
So I'll turn it around so you guys can see the tag.
While we're on peas,
Yep.
all right, this is going to be my dumbass talking a little bit here, but I can't be alone. Peas, like the peas you eat out of the can. I know canned peas. It's like, I didn't know. Is that dumb to think about that?
I'm with you.
Because if you see a blend like peas and tubers, I look at that, I'm like, peas, canned peas, and what the fuck are tubers? You know what I mean? I feel like it's an uneducated but honest assessment of the name. I love the name, but like,
Not garden peas for your mashed potatoes.
okay.
I don't like those. So that's good.
Yeah.
So, yeah, but
Not
I like
those.
peas like in a pod peas.
He was out until then.
They can, if left to grow out, and they would produce a pod, because that would be the only way you get another pea.
Right. Okay. Thank you. See, I'm just asking. But okay.
But yeah, I mean, we're planning it, and the deer are going to utilize the forage. That's why, like on the forage pea, it's just going to produce a lot of forage. A lot of times peas like this can be grazed, obviously, but they can also be baled in for hay.
Oh, okay.
I mean, they put out enough forage that they can be included in the hay, for feed that way too.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, they can be they're grazed and everything like that.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
no, not necessarily. These aren't these are more for, let's just say, a livestock type of, for foraging for animals.
There's going to be a large percentage of listeners that are like, "Shut up, Curt. That's stupid." But I think there's going to be a fair amount of them that are like, "Oh, okay, I get it now."
That's a fair question.
I don't think that, honestly, I've learned, I don't think you can assume that anybody knows anything.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah, for sure.
Really, I mean, I look at the food plot forums and this and that, and sometimes people ask questions, and you don't want to say that's a dumb question, because really no question's ever dumb, but you're like, man, there really are people that they just do not know.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm talking about at a crazy elementary level, but they don't know. They have never been exposed to it, and I don't know their background. So I mean, you really just can't. It's hard to think that way, but then at the same time, I mean, you can't. You just got to go all the way down to the bottom and help them.
Well, shit, I've been putting in, I hate to put that term, like working class style, like budget plots to a point for years. And it's like, I've always say every time I do food plot podcasts, it's hard for me to retain the information, but I'm not reading up on it probably like I should. I just want the results, which is where you guys come in, because you put it in the bag, and if they buy the bag, they want results, and maybe they don't want to know all the detail. They just want to know that it's going to work, and that's where you guys come in. That's why you guys have jobs. So
yeah, I mean, that's what you want out of it, quite frankly. I mean,
yeah.
Blake and I were having a conversation last night about, not everybody's going to do it the same way. There's more than one way. There's more than one something to get out of it. Some guys, a lot of guys, they get into it and they kind of become obsessed with it because it's another part of deer hunting, and they end up kind of, enjoying the planning and the watching it grow, and and seeing the deer come and eat it as much as they do, pulling the trigger.
yeah, definitely.
So it just becomes another aspect. But other guys are just saying, hey, I want something. I heard that food plots are cool to have. I know they can help me. I just want something green out there to hopefully get a deer in here and whack it.
Yep.
It's all in what you want out of it.
Definitely. Yeah, I think it's just the availability, the place they have, and
Equipment.
time.
Yeah.
Equipment and free time. Because a lot of guys will burn up their time in season, and then they're trying to watch their ass in the off season. You know,
Well, and I
which is
mean,
fair.
you know, all the way down to budget. I mean, it's, you know, obviously we're going to tell you the step by step ideal way to do it, where you know, all the way down to soil testing, to liming, to fertilizer, and all that. But
Yeah.
you know, at the end of the day, I mean, I'm not here to judge a guy if he says, "Well, I got the money for the seed. I don't have the money for all this other stuff," even though he knows he's supposed to do it. Okay, well then, go for it.
Yeah.
You're going to get out what you put in, but go for it. I mean, you know,
For sure.
we're not here to judge somebody about that. So
No, get your work in how you got to get it for sure. Well, I didn't mean to sidetrack us too hard on the peas thing. I just genuinely didn't know.
Well,
Didn't know
I
that.
think your second part of that was asking about what the tubers were.
Yeah, I just love
That's
the
a
name.
very common question of what's a tuber. Like
I love
it comes up all the time.
It sounds cool as hell. It's like, yeah, I like tubers. What are they? I don't know.
And
But
honestly, tuber is kind of a little bit of somewhat of a general term or name that's used, much like brassica. I mean, brassica is a broad, you know, stroke, if you will.
similar like clover's kind of broad.
Nice. Yes, absolutely. White, crimson.
Red.
but
Red.
that's all.
Yeah, but brassica is more clover.
Right.
Yes. Yes, you're right. You're right.
Daryl's mad.
Yeah, sorry.
Everybody's wrong.
but no, you're right.
For the
because
backup. You're right, Curt.
there's a lot of different varieties under the name clover.
Right.
Brassica is like a family, kind of like clover, where you've got, you know, turnips and rutabaga. All that falls under the terminology brassica.
Okay.
So, you know, a brassica really doesn't mean anything
Okay.
Okay.
other than a family. It's talking about kind of a family. It's not a specific variety
Okay.
of that. So if you said, I want to plant some clover. Okay. What kind of clover?
Right.
Yeah.
Do you want ladino? Do you want crimson clover? Do you want
Right.
arrowleaf clover? You know, so on and so on. So it is kind of a broad term to use.
Yep.
That, you know, you do have to kind of get in the weeds a little bit and figure out what they want.
Okay. Okay. So tubers is that. It's a category.
It just no, it's not a category. It's just kind of a broad term that is used to describe plants like a tuber or a radish, a rutabaga. I mean, I said tuber, turnip, radish, rutabaga. That's going to have a big, giant tap root, if you will.
Okay.
That's going to be in the ground, like you've imagined.
Okay. Okay.
Just because, like they have what's called forage turnips. They don't really have anything. You know, it's kind of been bred out of the plant, so it's just a tap root. So you don't have energy. The point of that is you get more forage
On top.
on top, but you don't, because it's not having to put any energy in creating a
Yeah, that makes total sense.
tuber.
Yep. Okay.
So-
Okay. That makes a lot of sense. I'm glad that we just kind of went through that because I think people listen to like, oh, you know, because let's be honest, it's just, I fucking hated school. And a lot of times I just act like, yeah. So I didn't have to fucking address how I didn't understand it.
Yeah.
And, you know, I think a lot of people might be like, yeah, I'm planting peas and tubers. Hey, what's a tuber? I don't know. But Joe and Daryl said I should plant it. And maybe that's all they care about. But the breakdown is great to understand. That's what I'm getting to. I feel like I'm running this in circles here, so my bad. But
Well, I think most people, to your point of that, most people don't. They're intimidated to ask the question. They don't want to look stupid.
I'll do it on a national platform for everybody.
Curt will be Kurt's going to be everybody's dummy tonight.
But yeah, you know, I'm not trying to be something I'm not. I'm just it's good questions, and if I'm wondering, there's got to be one other dude that's drinking a Michelob Ultra thinking the same shit.
Well, I think too, like the mix of it is what is different. So I can tell you from my standpoint, at least for watching deer in like Missouri, like I'm not the food plot guy by any means, right? I'm blessed to do a lot of my food plots in places where it's going to grow, right? All I got to do is break the soil and get rain.
Yeah.
And I'm going to have good stuff, right? I don't have to fertilize much. I don't have to do soil samples. Like I'm just blessed to be in the Midwest where I have great ground that grows stuff, right? Mm-hmm. So I think for me, what I see a lot of these blends of like tubers and things like that, like you talk about a forage turnip and then a purple top turnip, for instance, those for me, it just elongates, I guess is the word, the time that my food plot's used. Mm-hmm. So by doing a mix of things like that in those tubers, I feel like you make that plot a little bit more versatile throughout the year.
Well, yeah, I mean, like even the brassica plants that are in here, they all have different maturity rates.
Right.
So, you're trying to kind of spread that out so that you've got to, it's staggered to some extent. I mean, most of them aren't so far off, but there is a staggered time frame there. So they're maturing at different times. So, just in an effort to keep the deer's interest, so they're not all hitting at one time, like boom, we're going to wipe it out.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's just something to keep them going. And because, the name of the game is keeping them on your property.
For sure.
Holding them. So
how difficult is it to create a blend that has like different maturity rates in it? Like, is there a lot of, a lot, right? So maybe it's easier for you guys to kind of break down what you like, what you want in it, what the new blend. And I know you're doing test plots and all that stuff goes into all this, but is it just like a daunting process to figure out what the blend's going to be when you say peas and tubers?
Well, some of that information, it's readily available. So if, for me to look at, once we kind of get an idea of like, these are the plants that we think we want in, a type of mix and stuff like that, or a concept like, the concept with this one was we wanted something that could go, early to late, because, we've got certain ones that are, the whole basis is brassica, just like Last Stand or Main Event. So they're going to be looked at more as kind of a mid to late season, depending on weather and for, other foods and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Well, trying to hit that early with the peas, then, okay, let's make sure we're filling that hole when it's mid to late season, so to speak, of the forage, the leaf and that kind of stuff. And then after the season or late in the season, when it's getting cold and the deer, they've eaten the tops down, tubers, we wanted everything in there to have a tuber. Like, so everything's, when you go out there, it's going to look like a minefield.
Yeah.
And so there's a lot of food left. It might not be food on top, it's food down below. So, and the tubers are going to provide a lot of energy that they need in the winter and that kind of stuff. That was the concept, was to kind of take it beginning. We fill that void, that hole with the peas.
Yep.
Middle to the bulk of the season, we're filling it with the tops of your brassicas. And the winter peas, if they don't get eaten all the way down, they'll still be producing until and then all the way through to after the season to get them into the winter. It's a big thing. We talked about it a lot, is even with feeding, and it's becoming more and more popular, is that January, February,
crucial,
early March, trying to make sure these deer somehow have enough food to carry them through those hard months, so that when it's time for them they drop antlers and they start budding again, keeping them healthy and not run down in that period, so they're able to build back up from the rut. But then, if they're run down and have a hard winter and they don't have any food, it's just that much more. So when they start budding out with antlers again, the first thing they got to do, if you don't have that, whether it be feeding or this type of product, they got to recover. They got to build their body back up before they really start putting in energy towards antlers. Or, you want a healthier doe. A healthier doe is going to produce a healthier fawn. It's going to produce healthier, milk, so on. So it's just, getting that,
for sure,
keeping your deer as healthy as you can.
Absolutely.
Big Tine is to deer as Mountain Ops is to us.
Yeah.
Yeah. What was that term you used, that getting him back to fighting weight?
Fighting weight is what I call
it.
I don't know if that's right, but that's what
I know what you mean.
You know what I mean, though?
Yeah.
Like you watch a deer, if you watch your deer at all, like
get late dad
season,
back.
they look horrible.
Yeah.
They look absolutely horrible. Their hair looks horrible. They look horrible. And you have to
They're
remember,
hungover, man, basically.
Yeah, absolutely.
He's had combat dick for the last 3 months.
He's been on a bender, right?
They've been on a rut bender.
Yeah, like you got to get him back to normal to where he's healthy, and because the antlers, as everybody knows, the antlers are just an add-on, right?
Yeah.
Like to his health, if he's not healthy, it's gonna show in his antlers first, because that's what he can get rid of. It's kind of like a human's fingernails.
Yeah.
Like if you look at people that have issues.
Yeah, if he's got an infection or a wound or
it's going to his antlers is where it's going to show.
Yeah.
So that's what it's all about, right? And that's
sure.
I think for me, for this blend, and I haven't played with this blend at all, and so you correct me if I'm wrong, but to me, what's most enticing as a hunter to that blend is that you get longevity out of it.
Yes.
And that's where a lot of blends, a lot of guys like around me at least will go and be like, well, I can buy purple top turnips for $2.50 a pound. So I'll go put those out. And then, yeah, that's okay. But those are only going to last you for a week and a half when they turn right. Those deer are just going to pound them if you have a decent population. Where like the peas and tubers was a great idea in my opinion, because the longevity that it allows a guy to hunt that plot.
Yeah, stretches out the value of it.
Yeah. So it doesn't really matter, your seasons are so different per state. But with this thing, the longevity of it, like in Missouri, we start September 15th and then January 15th. So
it's a long season.
Yeah, so it's a long one. So man, if I'm going to put all that work into that plot, I want to be able to hunt it when the right times of the year and know I'm going to have food there the whole year. That's what that plot, to me, that's what sets that apart. Like,
get the most out of your effort.
Right. And I'm like you, I don't know a lot about peas. I know I've tried to plant peas before and the deer smoked them before they really didn't even get up. Right. And
that's probably one of the general negatives about peas, just like soybeans.
Right.
If you don't have enough, or if you got a high deer density,
they get smoked.
They're ready to eat. There's no getting ready, like, oh, well, they're not really going to hit that, so it'll have time to get up, kind of like a brass.
Yeah.
No, there's parts that you'll see all the time. The intent for this is long term.
Right.
That doesn't mean that you see it and hear it and read it all the time, where guys are like, I can't even get a turnip to get out of the ground because they just are
wiping them out.
Well, I can't, nobody can control that. I guess shoot more deer. I don't know. But
I have a dumb question, but maybe there's no dumb questions like we've covered. You guys saw my one plot that I put, and you could see some remains of what were like. It's a lot of mud in that plot because it got pounded. But so like, what is left of some of them like turnips and stuff in there? When I go through and till that up, is that like it's like basically compost for that plot, right? Yeah. So it's just going to increase,
add nutrients back to your soil.
Yeah. So that's like, is that a big bonus to like tubers and
yeah,
I don't know if it's a big bonus, but it's an add-on. It's a bonus.
It's not hurting.
It's definitely not hurting.
Well, turnips take a lot out of your soil too, so it's giving a little bit back. So
okay,
you still need to look at fertilizer and
I'm just looking at it.
It's going to break down, and it's going to add more. It's going to add some organic matter back to your soil.
Okay, all right. Okay,
so but something that Blake just said too is, the guy, and you hear that all the time, well, I'll just go down to the co-op or wherever and get some purple tops or something and do it. Well, flip side of that too is, okay, that's great. And maybe you can get it cheaper or whatever, but a monoculture of something is never going to be, I don't think ever going to be as good as a mix
right
for deer, because it's not going to, we kind of said it earlier, it's not going to keep their interest, or it's gonna peak, and then it's gonna start to fall off, and they're gonna go look. So you're not gonna have these peaks and valleys. You're gonna have a more consistent ride with mixes. Right. Whether it's this mix or any mix. You'll notice that we always are trying to have even the Advantage turnips, which I'll bring this back up when we get to that it's turnips, but it's not a monoculture either. Right.
Okay.
So just having that, different types of plants, so you can.
Yeah, it makes sense.
It'd be like going to an all-you-can-eat buffet, and all they had was fried chicken on it.
Yeah.
Like maybe you want fried chicken every now and then, but that's not all you're going to eat.
Right.
Or you're going to get sick of it. Like you got to have those varieties on there in the sides.
Yeah. There's always something different, and it's always warm.
I just got kind of hungry.
I almost made that analogy earlier, but I didn't want to cut off somebody smarter than me.
So you made me sound stupid?
No, you waited until he was done. I was going to be like, yeah, like a buffet. And then Daryl would be like, good job, buddy.
Or
here's your gold star.
Or you can be Joe and go to Chester's and get us a whole sack of livers.
That was like 2 pounds of livers.
Brutal.
Dude, cheap and ready to rock.
Brutal.
Okay, that makes sense. So
I do have one question before we go, because I this is an honest question for you just while we're here. So peas, is there a palpability gain over soybeans, or is it about the same? Just more forage, probably, right? Or am I wrong?
Depending on the pea.
Okay. So like if we say this plot, like if I'm gonna replicate the plot and I'm gonna throw beans out instead, or I've got soybeans, like where I am, we have soybeans by the thousands of acres, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is there any palpability gain off of peas for forage as opposed to soybeans? Because it doesn't seem like.
Well, when you're planting these, the time of the year that you're going to be planting them, your soybeans are going to basically not have forage, meaning leaf, on them anymore.
Okay.
Or they're going to be losing that, or they're going to be transitioning.
Right.
Just like when you see the leaves on a bean start yellowing, the deer tend to leave.
Right.
Because they're not palatable anymore. They're not there's not life in that leaf, if you will.
That's what Mark Jury's famous green to green transfer.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
And kudos to him for coining his phrase.
They've mastered the terminology of like that stuff, which is very valuable because here we are. It makes so much sense what we're talking about. But
sure.
Yeah.
Anyway, green to green transfer is like a good way to remember.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what's going on? Where's my deer? Well, it's not green. Where's the other green?
Right. But a lot of that is so you don't, much like we have the peas into the brassica tops, into the tubers. It's trying to minimize any type of gap where you can lose your deer.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because if you don't have the green to green and the deer and the beans, if you're working off of ag and the beans are changing, well, you're giving them an opportunity to leave your property.
Mm-hmm.
First, if you've got something they can transition right there, you stand a better chance of holding
Absolutely.
them.
No, it makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
I think I think we just did a really good wage brain breakdown of peas and tubers. I feel like.
Yeah.
He hasn't even gotten to what tubers are in there yet.
Yeah. Okay.
There's a pile of them.
Sorry.
But
Go ahead.
But to Blake's question about the soybeans versus the peas,
Yeah, that's a good question.
There is,
by the way.
there are forage soybeans,
Right.
which is still going to be a summer type of crop, and their whole concept is not pods; it's forage, it's tonnage of forage.
Right.
Whereas a conventional soybean that you're going to see if farmers plant with, well, the end goal there is not it's pods.
Yeah.
It's beans. It's harvestable beans.
There's still a big misconception with that because we still get those questions like, why don't you guys have a bean yet? Well,
absolutely. Yeah, because there's like eagle beans or something.
But where I'm going is
there's a whole world.
A lot of people think that deer are eating the pods in the summer. They're not touching pods in the summer at all. But that's why you have the forage bean or the pod beans. But
I got you.
But
They're
that's
eating
where
the
that gap
leaves.
comes in. They're eating the leaves. So that's to your point again of when it goes yellow, they're not hitting that again. If you have pods on there, that's like regular field beans.
Pods are the late season.
They're waiting for those peas. They're waiting for the pods to dry down and
because a deer can't process raw soybeans.
God, I feel fucking stupid because I thought they're eating the pod.
I thought the same thing.
Oh, no way.
I didn't know. Fucking know. That's what I mean.
really though the majority.
It's stupid because
Probably the blooms, though, I would assume. I would assume they eat the blooms when they bloom.
The pods aren't even there for the bulk part of the summer.
right until the
I mean, you got to go. The pods aren't there until the blooms come and they flower out
Right.
and they get pollinated and here comes the.
I guess I don't know what I thought. I mean,
that's common.
I
That's
figured they
super
ate the
common.
leaves, but I figured like whatever starting of the pod or whatever they're eating that, and that's that's where the crop damage comes from early, is they just pound out, and then I don't know. I guess I never really thought about it any further than that.
Yeah, I just knew they ate the beans.
They're eating beans.
They're
Right?
in the beans.
But that's like in July when you're out there glass and everything.
Yeah.
And they're just like walking along. They're not really putting their heads down.
They're
They're just walking along, mowing as they go.
Yeah, it's good.
And they
Top
like
on
to
the-
eat the tops.
Yeah.
Because that's where the plant is actively growing. So that's where you're going to have the most tender growth is
Yeah.
out of the top. So if you ever walk around the edge of a soybean field, you speak to crop damage. Really, crop damage is when they won't let the beans get up.
That's very true.
They're just mowing them down.
Yep.
And they just keep hitting the top side of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And they can't get up. So then you're not going to even have a substantial type of plant to produce.
Yeah, they never allowed it to even get there.
Right.
Okay.
So-
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. Tubers. But we're covering some good ground here. I think all this is valuable conversation that maybe seems obvious to some people, but I can't be alone. And
No, I'm with you. There's a lot of questions.
Well, it goes back to that you can't discount that somebody out there doesn't know.
Yeah.
Right.
Sorry, Daryl, we're going in circles, but I think this is good. This is good stuff to break down.
Trust me, I'll talk about it forever.
Okay.
I mean,
We'll test you on that one day.
I'm dangerous at a show. I'll just talk for probably to the same person for too long.
Well, one of these days, hey, Daryl, we got an 8 a.m. WCB show. Why 8 a.m.? You'll find out.
We'll be
8
walking out at
p.m. when
5.
you get out of here. It's like we just produced a whole podcast series in one day off Daryl. Okay, continuing on in peas and tubers.
So the tubers.
Yes.
We'll just jump into that. We've got purple top turnips, which are going to produce a nice big, bulb.
Late season.
Again, something to always
Turnip
remember. Turnip, big fat purple turnip.
Yep.
Yeah. Something to remember on any kind of brassica type plant. More is never better. You do not want to, is not something you want to overseed. With clover you can cheat, and you'll hear people talking. Like Eric did a video not long ago that was saying, he was out frost seeding, mudding some seeds, clover, and he, and I told him to up his rate.
Mm-hmm.
Or if you're frost seeding, it's good because you're not going through a conventional method of planting, so you're kind of leaving the seed to chance to plant.
I gotcha.
But the clover's not as competitive drawing from the soil and drawing nutrients, so it can have a little bit of crowding in there, and it'll work itself out.
Okay.
But any of these brassicas type plants, especially something with a bulb, is drawing a lot of nutrients out. And you could even go cheat to the lesser side of saying plant a little bit lighter so they can really, and they'll have more space. Just like when you see somebody go and thin trees so that they can get more girth, and kind of the same type of thing.
Yeah,
Makes sense. If you leave them tight, they're just fighting each other for nutrients. So you just kind of give it some more sunlight and give it some space.
Makes sense.
But so you got the purple top turnips, you got a radish. So there's another long tuber that they can eat the forage and the top.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna have sugar beets, rutabagas. Again, you're gonna have a nice tuber, bulb. Tuber and a bulb are pretty much the same. I mean, a bulb is probably a little bit more bulbous.
Tubage.
Yeah.
Circular.
But, a tuber still can be long and slender and not necessarily be a food source, but
I gotcha.
it's still classified.
I
as
miss
tuber.
Doug right now because he would have something to say about that.
Bulbous.
I hope Doug just walks in on us, which I have my phone on airplane mode. So if he could be sitting up there at the bar all sad that he's left out.
Just moping.
Maybe out here I'll turn my phone on.
And then finally we've got another type of turnip that's I describe it as a medium type bulb turnip. It's not going to get, sometimes you'll see these guys pull up your purple tops and they'll be this big.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, that's not a good turnip.
Yeah.
Because the deer can't really eat that. He's
Yeah.
going to take a few bites and then you're going to have a rotting turnip left on the ground.
Yeah.
That's
Right.
just like, cool, I grew a
Look at this
volleyball,
giant. Yeah. Which, yeah,
but
it's funny. It's
I
cool to
would-
see, but it's,
cool for pictures to hold up. But I mean, that's
Yeah.
about it, the extent of it.
Yeah.
I like this medium-sized turnip a lot because it's not a forage turnip, but it doesn't get this giant bulb on it. It stays really, kind of in that sweet spot of what I would like between like a racquetball, tennis ball, baseball size apple. So they can something that they can pop out of the ground and they can eat it.
Mm-hmm.
They can roll. You see these deer that are rolling them around and in their mouth, and they can truly eat the whole thing if they desire to.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how that turnip is bred and designed. So, but also with it having a smaller bulb, it's going to give you some more top growth too, because it's not having to put so much
All the energy into the bottom of it.
Exactly.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So-
Okay, cool.
So yeah, that's what you got for all your tubers.
Right.
Cool. All right. Now we go use code WCB2024 on BigTine.com, and Peas and Tubers is right next to the soil test kits on top of the page.
Right there at the top. And a whole new website. So it's going to be much more user-friendly. And it's going to be nice and pretty by the time this thing drops.
Something else on this peas and tubers that I'm happy that we were able to get accomplished with it is, it's a bigger size bag, mostly because you've got all the peas and they take up a lot of space. But like our lockdown plants a quarter of an acre.
Mm-hmm.
This gives you a full half acre for basically the same style of bag. I mean, it's all due to volume of seeds and size of seeds.
Yeah.
But I was something when we started this, I wanted it to be a half acre.
Mm-hmm.
One, because it does make it different than lockdown, because they both do have peas in them. But And they're totally different mixes. I mean, they may have some of the same components, but they are totally different. But I wanted a full half-acre style of planting.
I off the one plot that I call my big plot. Do you guys think I'm like the thought of peas and tubers there, where my grizzly blind is?
That's where the
that's what I had in mind.
The scrape branch with the camera was.
Yep.
Where we measured some. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would.
Yeah.
I don't. Yeah, I still. The point of why we were trying to measure that one end, instead of you planting that in one food plot.
Yeah.
Which I think you had it all in the same thing this year, right?
Yeah, I did.
I would rather see you squeak out something else.
Okay.
Split that difference, making that fringe.
Even if it's clover, it's clover. If it's something else, but much like when we're trying to give some diversity here for different reasons. That's why don't just go plant buck brunch or last stand over the whole farm. Give them some diversity.
Yeah,
it'll pay off for holding, and it's just.
The cool thing about it is I have that path that kind of cuts through there by the blind, and I can make that as my buffer. I might do like a clover buffer right there that runs all the way down, and then just keep it, and then use that to separate. Because there was like a bunch of big boulders and rocks in the round spot. If you think about it, my plot's shaped kind of like a dick. So the balls, if we're in the balls area, there was like a whole rock pile, and I pushed it all off where the balls were. So now I can do something separate there from the wiener part, the actual wiener.
You want to get him halfway up the shaft.
The wiener should be two
for your shot.
Yeah.
Wiener definitely has to be two.
Peas and tubers in the shaft.
For sure.
Get some girth in there.
Some girth. The cock ring will be clover, and then the balls will be, sorry, that was bad. The balls might be maybe buck brunch.
Hairy vetch.
Do water
Maybe
bonds.
advantage turnips.
Were we measured a while ago or earlier when we were there?
Yes.
I'm glad I didn't go.
I have a wiener-shaped food plot.
You frost seeded. You forgot you did it, but you did. Frost seeded some clover there.
I might have.
Either somebody dropped it there for you, but you have a lot of clover growing in that end.
I frosted clover. I forgot. See, I forgot again.
I will be honest with you. There's a lot of plots at home that I will just do like a 5-foot or 10-foot strip of clover where my stand is or where my blind is.
Yeah.
Because deer are like edge walkers, right?
Yeah.
They like to walk edges and seams. And a lot of times I'll take bigger plots and knock them down with just a 5-foot strip of clover straight across the plot. And we get a ton of, I guess I would say, more deer will funnel out and they'll work the plot kind of in a line. And then as they hit that clover plot, they'll end up working it down and working by us for like an archery range shot.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of little things. You could just take one bag of foundation clover
and stretch it out long ways.
Yeah, just strip it and use little edges to
that's probably what I'll do through that.
Yeah, absolutely.
If you did that, it would almost have the same kind of strategy of what when you're cutting paths through your CRP and stuff, hoping they'll walk it. Well, you're going to have a difference in structure here.
Yeah,
with the brassicas and the clover or whatever, something tall. So they'll hit it and they'll walk it.
I'm going to do that.
They're edge walkers for sure. It works great. Like there's a couple plots I have that are like 100 yards long, for instance, and I'm bow hunting, and I'm like, okay, how can I get these deer to the stand? So I may have my stand in the middle of the plot, like 60 yards each way. Yeah. And I'll just run the strip straight out from the stand 5 foot all the way across it. And it just ends up, it doesn't matter if they hit it on that end, they'll end up walking it down.
Yeah, it's just enough of an edge where they do it.
Yeah. It's just a little jump for
I got some ideas. I'm going to do that. I'm going to make that my buffer.
I don't know how it worked out because we didn't converse back about it to see. But when we were at Ritz's place last summer, fall, planting, he had a soybean field he was going to leave standing. Well, we were doing some planting, and they were wheat beans, because of the drought, but they made something, so there was food there. So we took, I think it was last stand we did, but we took, he had a grizzly or whatever he had there. I guess it would be grizzlies. Mm-hmm. Sponsored by Grizzlies. So
Grizzly. Yeah,
Grizzly.
The 450 or the 400.
So, and then right in front of his blind, he had a little small clover.
Oh, the blind,
patch. Yeah. So off of that clover patch, I walked zigzag paths just one way sowing last stand, and then I walked all the way back, and then I went out a different way. So my point in that was I didn't want it to be a big wide thing. It was just kind of a cedar width type deal. So when they're coming in different areas, my thought was, as these beans dry down, they're going to come up within the beans, and they'll feed these paths of last stand to the stand. So it's kind of
You're steering them
with, it was just a different plant, but you were talking about clover, but
Yeah.
I think that's a very effective, because they'll walk it. Now I think what Blake's talking about too is if you had taller plant and you almost took it down, so you have different edges, and we know deer like to move on edges.
Just a little edge.
Nobody said the edge had to be 20 feet.
It's so subtle that you don't think about it until someone's like, this is what I did, and they still follow it. You're like, fuck.
It's still an edge.
Yeah, absolutely.
Still an edge, yeah. I'm doing that. I'm going to make
It does work. Like a big plot, you can make an archery stand cover a big plot.
Well, and my instance with this, the wiener plot, is what I'm going to call it forever now. I just call it my big plot. It's not even that big, but it is shaped like a wiener.
Is it a big wiener plot?
Big wiener plot, okay. But I can stretch out an edge with clover, but it's just, maybe a bag of clover get me a long way.
Right, that's what I'm saying. It doesn't take much.
Yeah.
Like we'll say the end with the sack on it.
The balls? Yes.
If that can measure out to, let's say, a half acre, and you sowed all of that with peas and tubers, and then the
shaft
shaft is what
you've already got some clover going there, so help that along. Get there's some holes out there, so fill that in. But then you said when we were up there that all your deer mostly come out, which would be at the bottom of the sack, out of that thicket.
Yep. Yeah.
So
the gooch area.
Gooch is
Yes, coming out
down
of the
towards
gooch.
the tank.
Tainty.
They're coming out of the tank. Yep. Yes.
But you can take, I want your divide, like your plots meeting up right in front of your stand.
Absolutely.
Right. Which would be where.
Right where we're talking about.
Yep. Yep.
So then you could take, to Blake's point, you could take a clover. I don't care if you go back through there and just disc up, however you do it, but running strips, the straight or curvy or whatever however you sow it, from your stand to that thicket.
Oh, okay.
That'll be your cock ring.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're
like
getting them to come out of that thicket, that bottom, and you're steering them down that edge to you.
Right.
I like,
It'll be carving it right through your peas and tubers.
Super doable. I could almost do that in the spring, get that established, and then get my peas and tubers in the fall.
100%. And here's a cool,
or would you not recommend that? You gave a weird head tilt there.
Clover?
I think you'd have to do it because, if you do it now or in the spring, then you're gonna have to plant around it.
Yeah.
With your other stuff when you go in there in the fall.
I strip my clover early, but I'm in Missouri too, and it rains.
But you're not doing the same thing he's talking about doing, though, are you?
Well, like when I put strips through my turnip plots, or where I'm going to give my fall plots, I'll go ahead and plant those in clover.
And then you just work.
I just
work around.
seed the whole thing, and typically my seed that goes over the clover, since it's already established, doesn't come up anyway. But the cool thing about the clover is you can do smaller amounts of it. It takes grazing well. It actually likes it.
Yeah.
So you can utilize smaller parts of it, but still get good tonnage on the. You're almost making more out of a smaller space.
Yeah.
When you look at tonnage.
Well, this is going to be Gen 3 of this plot because I change something every year. Like I had the borderline, my pretty boy grass, and I did the tunnel of it. I'm going to do the tunnel right to the steps of the blind, and it's just going to be. It just helps. It's the blind is tight to the plot, but it still helps my entry exit if there's a deer at 50 yards or he's in the edge. Because a lot of it's like Osage and shit like that.
Something too, though, to think about with this specific one is you're talking about turnips and stuff like that. Yeah. You're talking about small seeds. This with the peas in there, it's going to need to have some soil on top.
Yeah, you're gonna have to. Yeah,
so you're going to be in there ripping it up, and you're going to need to get some soil on top of those for better success. I'm not saying.
So let me throw this at you. Then I have a new tractor with a brand new brush hog tiller, and I have a Cultipacker. I have a Packer Max. So I'd run over my tilled dirt with the Packer Max, then seed, and then Packer Max it again? Or would you just...
For this,
yeah,
I would with the bigger seeds, or if you were planting something with like lockdown or long range, that's some, with like the grains that are in that, you're going to need a little. They're going to do a little bit better with some soil on top. You could drag it if you wanted to, but if you're going to use your Packer Max, I would till it, sow it, cultipack it.
Okay.
If it were talking about clover or just some straight brassicas, especially clover, you would till it, pack it, sow it, pack it.
Okay. And then Buck Brunch, which is our most talked about blend on WCB, would you do the same thing with the Packer Max? Would you till, seed, Packer Max?
With that one, I would till, pack, sow, pack.
Okay, that's what I did. I just want to make sure I did it right. It came up
and I would do that one because it does have ryegrass.
Yeah.
So
deer do eat ryegrass.
That's a fact.
That's a fact.
So, but it can germinate right on top of the ground. Hence why it's our throw and grows type of mix.
It's WCB's blend, really.
But the other components in there are smaller. The clovers, the brassicas that are they're smaller seeds. So that seed, that whole mix can just be set right on top. I mean, you could technically till, pack, sow, and walk away. But that last cultipack is just pressing that in there so that, instead of that seed sitting there on a flat surface, now you're pushing it in, and it's got a better seat there. It's not going to wash as bad, but you've got 3 sides covered by soil, not just one.
And birds aren't wiping it out.
Yeah, I mean, I think it does help.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
So, that being said, this here is going to, to Blake's point, it is a little bit of a different strategy because of what's in the mix.
No, that makes perfect sense.
That's
big diversity.
So if we end up doing the clover strips in there, it's just going to have to be a little bit different practice than what.
And
I'm fine with that effort, though. I now have the tools to make that effort.
Good point.
More fun. And
it's just a little bit more work. It's not like it's a 20-acre field or 5-acre
no, it's
field.
not it's a little more work, but it's enjoyable work because you're almost making functional art out of
100%.
your little plot. Because do you know how fun it was for me to put the borderline in and make the tunnel and then cut a line of borderline to the grizzly blind, and then I had the balls cut in half. I had borderline in there to kind of make the deer move past the shaft. And I'm sorry, everybody at home, to do this to you, but it's a good laugh. I got a dick-shaped plot, and I didn't realize it.
Borderline's kind of like the pubes almost.
Thanks, Jordan.
Good job, Jordan.
Good add-on.
Yeah.
Sorry, Daryl.
He's been waiting a while.
He's been waiting for that.
Just waiting on.
He's like, give me my shot.
And I'm not saying don't, do them at the same time. What's your planning? We didn't talk about that either. When's this go in?
Well, obviously it depends on geographically, but most of the Midwest, you're going to start in that second or third week of you can back it up to the first week of August. It's a fall annual time frame.
Yeah.
If you're Blake, you could just plant it in June and see what happens.
Listen,
have an immaculate.
I'm
plot.
watching rain, man. I don't.
Yeah, that's the thing. We talked about it.
I don't get it sometimes. Like I haven't got it at home. You guys are getting pounded here. We literally haven't had rain.
See, we get it here, but we don't get it in August. We're lucky to get a good rain mid-August.
No. I don't plant. Everyone's like, I plant turnips in August. No, mine go in July, and last year they went in June, and they came up great. But when you give me a forecast of 3 days of rain in June, like late June after the 15th, I'm planting before it because I don't know what's coming. And I did it last year. We talked about it on the way here. Like I had turnips that were huge. They didn't even eat the stalks coming out of the turnip because they were so hard and long, but they ate all the forage.
It was really weird.
It was unbelievable.
Blake was
anytime Blake calls you and says, "All right, hear me out. I'm gonna plant in June."
I do
see what happens.
Yeah,
it worked.
I'm not a niche guy. Like I don't go along with what I hear. You know what I mean? Like I just kind of listen.
Fuck
like,
Daryl's knowledge.
Please go by the plan.
Yeah, like and I feel bad by saying that, but like for me, it's a matter of like I'm not in Iowa, right? So you look at a lot of like influence that comes in the like whitetail industry comes from Iowa. I'm not in Iowa, right? So like for me, I just try to look, see what's going on around me, see how the deer react, see what grows, see what works, all that stuff. Like always just out of the box. Like I'm just open-minded as it goes, right? And if it's right and you got the rain and you think you can swing it,
well, the last couple of seasons, it's been a crapshoot for anybody.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's just been weird.
Yeah.
So, I mean, with your plots looked better than my plots that went in mid-August.
Absolutely.
And I was severely worried, and you had giant green plots. Well, he rolled the dice. And a lot of it's just rolling the dice and seeing 100%. Where it plays.
Now you know the stress a farmer lives in to make his living off of weather.
Yeah. I feel like though farmers, man, those seeds are so like genetically grown that like they always have a decent yield for the most part. At least where
maybe
I'm
not disagreeing with you, but I just watch Austin Chandler stress out every year, and I'm just like, yeah, he seems pretty nervous.
And again, I'm like dumb to it because you got to remember I come from like one of the highest yield counties in Missouri, right? Like stuff grows there, right. So our farmers probably have it a lot easier than others. But food plots are the same way, and I think ultimately you try to get rain. You talk about cultipating things. Like if it's a bigger seed, that's usually a good rule of thumb, isn't it? If it's a bigger seed for the most part, make sure it's not.
You're going to need soil on top of it.
Yeah.
It just needs soil, and it's going to do better.
It's better.
That doesn't mean that a pea can't germinate and grow and have success with it on top, but it's going to do. The success rate's going to be higher if you plant it properly.
Right.
Yeah.
And then. Two, if you had any turkeys on your property, and you left them laying on top. I mean,
they're gonna smoke it.
And you don't get rain to germinate them quickly, then you might not have any peas.
Right.
All right, let's talk Advantage turnips.
All right.
We just killed almost an hour on peas and tubers, and that's all right though
because killed an hour on your dick.
That's true. Factual.
Yes.
That's where we went off the rail.
There's some side quests in there, which is fine. That's completely fine. That's what we do. Side quests here.
I was going to bring up the fact that Daryl was all about filling all the holes, and then you started talking about your dick plot. I'm like, there's way too many things going on here.
Food plots and deer hunting. And let's just keep moving on to advantage.
Really the purpose of this, and I pushed hard on Joe because this was something that I wanted, and I had to sell it to him. To an extent, to kind of say, all right, let's do it and let's push for it, and all we have to do internally to move something forward. But first of all, back to how we was talking about a monoculture. This isn't just putting purple top turnips in a bag and being like, we've got turnips. Mm-hmm. There's 3 different varieties of turnips in here. We do have, it's purple tops. We have that medium sized turnip we were talking about again, and then we have a forage turnip. Mm-hmm. So you're going to have 2 of the 3 are going to produce forage, and they're going to produce that bulb or tuber on there, and then the other one is all about the leaf. It's not going to be really an edible tuber or bulb at the bottom. Mm-hmm. It's just going to be more about leaf. But one of the biggest concepts about this is, probably the reason it is the reason we came up with Advantage, but is because the advantage is you can do so much with this mix. Mm-hmm. Meaning you can plant it as a standalone plot, just with what's in there. You can sow it over cereal grains or mix it with cereal grains and have grains and turnips. You can sow it over standing corn, beans, and that's becoming more and more popular type of way. You can mix it with perennials like foundation clover. And, it would serve as a very nice nurse crop for that first year clover developing. A lot of times we suggest mixing oats or wheat or cereal rye with clover that first year if you're planting it in the fall, mm-hmm. just as a nurse crop while that clover, and it's giving a little bit more food to your deer too, because that clover that first year is about developing, not necessarily the mm-hmm. your clover's your marathon runner, and these annuals are going to put out a lot of forage in a short amount of time. So there's just a lot of ways you can utilize this, right. And I don't think that stuff is talked about enough. So hopefully we can do a good job of explaining that and getting that word out to customers about, with this product. And I mean, you can do this type of stuff with Main Event. You can do it with Last Stand. Turnip seems to be a kind of a go-to for a lot of people doing these types of strategies a lot of the times, but you could really take almost any brassica and do what the advantages or the different strategies with this. But we really wanted to sell that with this, and I mean, turnips are very popular for deer.
Absolutely.
And something like we could provide a mix of different turnips that are going to mature different ways. They're going to mature at different times. Or and each plant is giving you a little bit of something different. So even if you're just planting it as a standalone turnip field with 3 varieties of turnips out there, it's still different than just saying, I went down there and got some purple tops for cheap.
100%.
Okay, well, that's good. I mean, that doesn't mean you can't have success with that.
Right.
But, when we build a mix, the goal is how can we make it better or, extend that longevity out of the mix and, different reasons for that deer to stay. Because they're going to hit the forage turnips in here probably a little bit better early than they do the other ones. So again, like we talked about with the peas and tubers and so many of our other mixes, it's trying to keep that mix.
Lengthens the curve
That's
of
right.
the plot.
That's right.
Which is huge in my opinion. I mean, to me as a hunter, that's like what I want. If I'm going to take the time and the effort to work it up.
What kind of discredits the guy who's like, fuck your bag, I'm going to go to the whatever and get my thing.
Right,
yeah, it's exactly what it does. It
yeah.
kind of is like, well, yeah, you can, dude, but we're trying to help you not have to fuck
trying to
with
help you hunt it from September through January, not just January 5th for the last 10 days of season or whatever.
Yeah,
you know
for
what I mean?
And the coin phrase is, buck on a bag. You can't trust any company.
Oh, I've never heard that.
Oh yeah, that's a big one.
Buck on the bag, huh?
Buck on a bag. And I mean, we have a buck on a bag, but like
we have a buck on every bag.
But
doesn't everybody?
That's our logo, But
yeah,
that's from the haters.
Who said it? Who said that shit?
But it's a phrase that that somebody has gone out there that probably is trying to do their own food plot business, and they're trying to it's the same guys that are saying there's absolutely nothing, no benefit. Deer won't get anything out of ryegrass,
Yeah,
they do eat it, and
that's Burley Raj.
But
he'll tell you.
So, when you say the buck on the bag, hey, don't buy from those guys. Go down to the co-op. You do whatever you want to do.
Right.
But
Yeah.
the at the end of the day, the buck on the bag people are probably generally putting a lot of effort into trying to make mixes that fill these voids that we're talking about.
Yeah, they want to benefit you. They don't want you to have a shitty time with their product so you don't come back.
I don't want one-time users and then we never get them back.
Yeah, we just got to get them once. We'll get them once, and then if it's good, they keep coming back because it did the job that you said it was going to do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's a good point. Buck on the bag. Who fucking said it?
It's kind of like the guys that spend all their time hating on you on Instagram when they should just be spending their time perfecting their own trade,
Figuring out how to hunt.
rather than bashing somebody else. That's kind of that. And I'm not saying that every buck on the bag blend is perfect, but
listen, not everybody's got a Daryl, right? Like,
right.
Nobody, I mean,
They don't have
Not every product's a home run either. I mean, you try until you hit them, but
that's the market, man. They got to just figure out what's good.
That's when Daryl started talking to me about the Advantage Turnips. It was originally called 3-way turnips, but he thought that was a little too far. I
like it.
It's pretty good.
I could really run with that one. But
Cuck peas and tubers. What? What is this?
But he's always coming at you with like a peas and tubers blending. You look at it and like, oh, that's an amazing blend. And then he was like, this is just 3 turnips. Like, with all that you come up with, and you come up with 3 turnips. But then he started talking about the maturity levels, and different times, and then it just made the different sizes and everything. I was like, yeah, it is just 3 turnips, but whoa, that's more than I ever thought about with just turnips.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Well, and you partner with whatever, right? Like you talked about. Like I'm a big oats guy because I'm a firm believer where I'm at in Missouri. I'm in the middle of the state. I have a little milder winter. So like in Iowa, for instance, or other places, they have a little harsher winter. So like oats and things that don't necessarily need the deep freeze for 5 or 6 days are pretty good for me. And it seems like that's just how the winters have laid. Now, don't get me wrong, we've had bad winters before, but most likely we have mild ones. So that blend to me is like, okay, I would partner it with clover. My clover, you know, when it gets hot at home, my clover grows the best in the shade. So this is going to allow it a canopy as well to come up. So that would be my partner in that situation where I'm at. But I think it just the versatility of allowing you to partner with whatever grows best in your area. You know, you can do that. You can do oats. You can
which was in my brain was a big desire for me is to get, like I said, get that point across.
Yeah.
That, like, you know, again, you can do it with other of our blends, but I really wanted to nail it down on this one.
Yeah,
for
just to get that last part of the season, that versatility of the last part of the season with the turnips.
I think it's cool, man, that you guys have basically the availability and the knowledge in house at Big Tine to like focus and the people you work with to run test plots and trial this stuff. And like the thing that I want people at home to stress, and this is like my experience in talking with you guys, like I can call Daryl and Joe any fucking day. I was in the store, Daryl, I'm just getting fertilizer. This is all they have. All right, well, this is why you're just get, you know, and walk me through it. Or I can just call you bullshit. Like you guys work for Big Tine. All right, I started WCB. I live my brand because it's my baby. You guys, it's like that's what you did with Big Tine when I talked to you guys.
100%.
And it's like the passion to the brand for the consumer is there with Big Tine. Then I'm not saying other brands don't have that, but in my experience, you guys have that, and I can feel that. The same way, if I wasn't really, when I worked at John Deere, I didn't give a fuck about wearing a John Deere t-shirt and telling you how great John Deere was when I got off work. I didn't give a fuck. It's green paint, and it paid my salary. Here, I'm fucking hustling, you know what I mean? And
you said it. It's your baby.
It's my baby, and this is your guys' baby, and I think it's very transparent that it is from my perspective, but for people that don't know or don't see it or never really stop to think about it, like you guys take pride in what you do and you want to put out a good product. And I've told you this, you made feeding deer cool, Joe. Like you have Joe is,
and I've said it before, I'm a douchebag, so
hey,
I don't know how we did that.
I'm a douchebag too, and that's why we're hanging out.
Hey.
So, but I just want to like make that side note with Big Tine is it's not a bag that you guys just threw together just to make money. You guys are passionate about it. Obviously, you know what you're talking about. Like it's more than that. So
it's the extra stuff of, you know, working directly with the growers and everything. I mean, Daryl was huge on that when we started this. When he came on, like, we're going to find somebody we can work directly with. It's not just going to be some distributor where you didn't know where the seed came from. We've said it before. I mean, July, we're talking to our growers and they're asking us how many acres to plant because those seeds from that harvest are going into the bags for this year. Mm-hmm. It's just those little steps that he takes that makes it that more special to us. And we've always had the mentality from day one of like, we are the consumer too.
Yeah.
Like we're still just those guys. And, you know, we had retail backgrounds. And so, you know, we've done the planograms before. So there's so many different aspects. We love to hunt. We've done planograms at the retail level. Like there's so many things that have come together for that makes it more special for us because we know where it ends up.
Well, you use your own product, and that's important.
Yeah, I mean, I was using Big Tine before I worked at Big Tine when it was just that big ugly bag, and then I got that opportunity, and then how far can we go?
Figured that was just a good side quest point to make. You know, it's like. Yeah, we've worked with you guys. Well, we worked with you guys a long time. I mean, I don't know how many years it's been, but
how many years has it been now?
It's been before 2017, right?
And along the way, you know, it's not just us. You know, we've all of a sudden we're with working class, and here comes Blake, and he does an amazing job every year with the commercials. That's all this guy and some others. I don't know if we're allowed to name them or not, but. Yeah. You know. But I mean, you know, Nick's been in with us. I mean, it's just that family we've created. Mm-hmm. It's our baby. We're letting everybody in the family hold it.
Yeah.
And that's the way we like to keep it. I mean, it's a passion, and It's just surrounding yourself with good people and keep on going and keep on driving.
Yeah. No, it's cool to see what everything's come into, but I mean, it's just awesome to see you guys' passion about it, and just in general. It's like it's a shitty day today. We ran out to the farm, a couple farms I have access to, and I just wanted you guys to see it. That way when I'm talking about shit I'm doing, you guys are like, oh yeah, in the shaft or the ball area. Yeah. So, lick bricks. I wonder if Doug, I'm going to run to the bathroom just to see if Doug's in the studio because we got to get Doug on the lick.
Daryl was all worried we were going to spend all of our time on PEAR and not talk about the food plot items, but
the food plot took it over.
It's better, right?
The PEAR's coming.
Which is a good thing.
But that's it.
PEAR's coming. All right, Jordan, hold it down for me, buddy. This is your shining moment.
Oh, come on, Jordan. You got this.
Pubes.
All right.
That's all you got?
Do you want to talk about the fortified deer block and while we wait for lick brick?
Yeah, let's do it.
Since you can use them.
I can use them.
You can use them.
Curt can't.
They're pretty sweet.
Just lock him out.
Yeah, well,
triggered.
Lock that door. We don't need him. I'm taking over.
We'll get those out of the way.
Yeah, I got you. Fortified deer block.
I thought you were taking over.
You got it.
I thought.
Where you
I
at?
don't know what to talk
We
about.
got
with
dead
it.
space now.
No.
Fortified deer block.
Jordan, I'll take it.
Yeah, I was waiting for Daryl.
Daryl's got
He left me hanging.
Let Daryl run.
Fortified deer block. We have a fortified deer block in the cherry that we had out last year, and it's gone over really well, better than probably we anticipated. There was a little bit of nervousness switching to the fortified deer block because we had a block for a long time. We've had and it was a very successful block, and it was still getting placement. It was still selling, but there was probably 2 or 3 years of battles on that one because I don't want to use the word but we talked about our feed is our king.
Mm-hmm.
And when I looked at the analysis of the other block, our old block, although it was good and it was, there he is.
Bricked up, baby.
My man.
You find him in the bathroom?
Yeah, he was in there jerking it.
I don't know. I think you're in.
Check.
There he is.
Yeah, here I am.
He's here.
Hey guys.
Doug's here.
Yeah, hey.
Okay, we got to start everything over now, right?
Right into PEAR.
Oh, yeah.
All
Start
right,
from the beginning.
Peas and tubers.
So realistically, Jordan, the old block was sitting there. For me, at least, I'll tell you from my perspective. Coyotes would take a crap on it. Stuff would pee on it. Every now and then a squirrel would chew on it. But they just weren't using it where I was.
It was very touch and go.
It was, it was
and,
very
and
touchy.
something else that a lot of maybe consumers might not pay attention to or notice because what their main thing that they're paying attention is it getting eaten and how fast is it getting eaten?
Right.
But the structure of that previous block, we were talking about our old Big Tine block versus we did away with it even though it was still producing for us. That wasn't a block that the deer were just going to really be able to go and consume. Mm-hmm. So not to mention that our feed is our king, and we let's take that bag of fortified and go as good as you can, as close as you can, and press it into a block. But make it to where it's a block that literally deer can go bite. I mean, deer aren't going up and biting, dog-sized bite out of it, but they can eat it with their teeth. Yeah, they're not having to lick it down. Our other one, the components of it were of such where when it pressed really hard, almost. I would almost
wasn't
say
consumable
possibly
to a point.
Harder than our mineral brick.
I'm gonna say people in 100 years are gonna find pieces of blocks on my phone. It's like artifact.
What is this?
I built my house with it.
It's a fossil.
Yeah.
The crazy thing is the main part of it was grains.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It was just different forms of grains than what we've got in here, and just different composition that it pressed it harder. I mean, it was like pressing a diamond.
Absolutely, yeah.
This is such a better representation of Big Tine, though, because we were allowed, it has the corn, the sunflowers, the milo. It has the nitro, the true nitro mineral in there. It has the flavoring that we have in the feed. So you're getting that same result from the bag that you poured.
Well, we legit took our fortified recipe, our blend sheet, to the people that are pressing this for us, and we said, "This is what we have. We need it as close." the initial block we had to back off on first test batch of it, if you will, because it had too much corn, and we had to change some compositions in there just to make it hold together. But
that was a wild test run because if it was too much corn, it wouldn't hold together.
But the deer
the
deer would suck it down just like a bag of food.
It was more like a bowling ball of Big Tine.
It would just crumble. It was
you couldn't get the form out of it.
I want to watch it just be done.
Be impressed.
Yeah.
But yeah, like Joe said, I mean, we
and we're paying for these tests to be done too, so that you come in and it's like, oh,
Yeah, you don't want to just
do it again.
Do a bunch of wrong ones and dump money.
And there's a certain amount that you have to run as a batch for them to even fire the machine up. So
yeah, it wasn't like, hey, can you make us 6 of those? No, it's like 6 tons.
What are we going to do?
Oh,
with
really?
600 blocks now.
Yeah.
That we don't. This isn't what we want.
See, I want I want to put like a pyramid of those out on a farm and cover them with happy hour and throw pear lick bricks out, and I want it.
But you can't.
I can't.
I
can't have it, and that's why I want it so goddamn bad.
Yeah, I had the pleasure of getting some of those, and it was like Sid's bedroom in Toy Story, where there's like pieces, like there was like fully molasses ones, there was like all corn ones. There's like,
You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna go to your farm or Doug's, and I'm gonna have myself just.
come to Missouri.
I'm just gonna have a moment of just let me do it all.
Yeah.
When we were
We'll
in
just sit back
Texas,
and watch.
He was filming that feeder of Big Tine, and he just had a giant smile on his face the entire time because he was like, finally
I can smell it.
Oh,
You can come to Kansas. Come to Kansas with me.
yeah.
Come out to the lease.
Yes.
It's like
I'm in.
just make it rain,
Dude, I want that.
You're just dumping it.
We've seen a video of you making it rain.
Yeah.
I'll be the guy. Let me have my moment.
Yeah.
There's a whole skit out of
Just
it.
gonna pour over curves.
Yeah.
This is my moment.
It's my moment.
Yeah. No, I want that.
Cut pear lick bricks into like dollar bills. Then
Just little slivers.
Slide them. Yeah.
Yeah, I want to
sure.
snort
It's a great idea,
lines of
Jordan.
lick bricks.
I'm a genius.
You should do that.
I want it. I want to ball out
Yeah.
with supplemental feed.
It's pretty fun.
come over and just help me feed one day at the farm.
I'm in. I want to dump out happy hour. Can I do that?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I want that.
whatever you want.
I tell you, I like testing food plots and all that stuff, but testing consumables like this is so much more fun because you get
It's
a lot-
instant results.
Yeah, you get a lot quicker.
Just pictures after
gratification
picture.
out of it. Yeah.
See, man, Illinois got to figure it out. And you know,
It's not gonna happen.
it won't happen, dude.
No,
It won't.
just give it up.
There's just certain
just roll
shit
with it.
you got to give
Hang
up
on.
on. But I want to put a trail cam over the shit, you know? Like, and some people act like that maybe they're above it. You're not. You know how people everyone in Illinois does it already anyway, motherfuckers. And whatever. I care? I don't care. The green jeans, they care. But, you know, every outfitter, you scroll an outfitter page from Illinois, all of them deer are standing in the middle of the timber and velvet licking their lips. And the bottom of every photo is cropped out. It's like, wow, look at that crater.
I didn't know trail cameras could zoom in.
Interesting.
You guys are terrible for placing their cameras.
Yeah. Yeah. You're not getting the ground in it. It's weird. And why are every photo's like ultra widescreen because it's cropped that way, you know? But do I care? I don't actually care.
No.
Because I don't think it makes a difference like when it comes to like a mineral lick or a lick brick during hunting season, you know, like, but I mean, whatever. You do what you do. It's on you. But I want it.
God, he's bitter about this.
I can't believe you guys can't do it.
He still
like,
talks about
Missouri, we do it out of season. Like you can't do it in season, but out of season I can.
That's what I
Like,
mean.
Yeah, so it's nice.
I don't care about doing it in season.
No.
Like I would like when a deer is in recovery mode,
January
for
15th.
him to have the plot and supplemental feed. You know, I would like it for a fine and shed antler purposes.
Yeah.
I would like it for nutrient for deer when they're nursing fawns. I would like it for, you know, recovery in the summer and drought and whatever and disease and all that stuff. You know, I want it for that. It's fun. I want to be a part of it. But,
Right.
you know, I would even, Illinois, if they even offered up a $200 fee to do supplemental feed, a supplemental feed license in the off season, I would pay it.
Absolutely.
I've talked to a few people who have said that.
I would do
I
it.
would pay to do it.
Shows you how bad they want it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would do it. And does it make that big a difference in the deer that I kill? I don't know.
No.
Maybe in the area in the off season only.
The quality,
probably.
the quality of them, yes.
Yes.
But like where I'm in Missouri, feeding doesn't affect if I kill a deer or not.
Yeah.
Feeding just puts the bigger deer on the
affects
property.
the quality of the
It affects the quality of my
Right.
deer, but I still
health
have
of the
to,
herd.
like we talk about, like you have to do too. And like, well, it goes back to the food plot for like versatility. I look for things that are versatility because you have scrapes and things pop up where I can identify that deer and kill that deer on that strategy, right? So feeding doesn't help me kill deer in Missouri. Feeding just helps me grow deer to their maximum genetic ability the quickest I can do it.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like that's the game.
yeah, for the conditions they're dealt with. And
100%.
I just want to roll a bunch of them fortified deer blocks just down at the bottom of the hill,
they
baby.
eat them very, very quickly.
That's what I mean. I have a fucking
what's been
pyramid.
your average, Blake?
It's just gone in one day.
like I usually feed weekly. So let's say Missouri, if we go in, I feed weekly, every 5 to 6 days usually, and I usually dump somewhere between 400 and 650 pounds in a spot. I feed on the ground a lot, so I lose some of the coons, but that's usually what my spot is. If I take a block in there and dump it, if it lasts me more than 3 days, wow, it's amazing. And that's the new block. I use the old block, and I swear to God, they're still there. Like I told them before, like they know this too. Like I've told them, I'm like, I'm not going to promote the block. That's not my thing. Like it doesn't work for me. I don't know why.
That's fair.
It's just not, you know what I mean? Like they're just not eating it. But then they're like, hey, we revamped the block. It's going to be a little better. Let's send you some.
You're going to want that.
Yeah. And like, I'm telling you, the PEAR blocks I got to play with when they first came out before they went out.
Speaking of the PEAR block one, can we open that one here on air?
Yeah.
Dude, this
I brought you a
you
bag
got to
of feed
open the
back
bag
here.
of feed. The Fortified
Should we do the
is
feed?
unbelievable.
You-
We'll do the feed,
can't-
but you're licking that lick brick.
You need to lick this lick.
That's not the lick. Oh, you got it right there. I was
Bingo.
looking at this fucking thing.
But no, I got to be honest with you. Like it's
like I like that.
it's a 3 to 4 day thing and I have a high deer population on the farm.
Yeah.
We don't shoot those. We'll go into that later. But yeah, this thing gets demolished unbelievably. Like it's unreal.
Where I put them out, I'm once the deer get on them. If I go and drop it out where haven't been feeding,
Right.
they got to find it. They got to get used to a block sitting in where it wasn't.
Yeah, they got to come
But
across
once they
it.
start getting on, it's about 2 weeks for me.
As long as a bear doesn't show up.
Yeah, I was going to say, do bears eat the fortified deer block?
Probably.
Yeah, they'll eat anything they want. Your ground blinds, your cameras.
I will say huge little tip. Don't touch it with your hands.
Really?
Yeah.
like
I utilize like a rubber glove, like the cheap gloves that are like rubber on the front and like cloth on the back.
Oh yeah.
I'll use those when I put them out, and there is a big difference I've had they'll almost sit a week if you handle them.
Oh, yeah.
Outside
I
of the
usually
package.
cut it 3 sides.
That's
and
what I
then
do.
That
use the
works too.
plastic and
Absolutely. And just get the
but I don't
plastic
like
off.
to handle it.
Yeah,
if
but
I have to move it,
if you handle it,
kick it.
It's a week.
Oh.
It's a week easy. That thing's gonna sit there and nothing's gonna
Weird.
touch it. So something to remember with blocks.
sit,
That's
baby.
that's one thing. And then my deer are probably conditioned about the best they can be. Like they'll hear the side by side and be there in 10 minutes after I leave. Like they know. They associate. I
Here
feel
comes
like,
Papa.
Yeah, like they associate my scent.
Bears.
Yeah, like
Pears all the craze.
Like my camera guy doesn't get out of the side by side. Like you stay in there. They only know my scent at that spot, right? Like I'm wearing loafers. I'm not doing this scent away stuff. I'm not spraying cameras down. They know me and they know what's going on there and they know what it is. But even if I handle a block, like I've had some I've taken out of the package for content creation stuff, and then I've just been like, oh, I better go put it out, right? Well, I've handled it a bunch. It'll sit there a week and a half and not get touched. So a lot of guys, I feel like, they may make that mistake.
All your deer from Cherry Rush are like, what the fuck is this bear shit?
Holy shit.
But no, I feel like guys,
my tits.
My taste buds.
My tits are blown clean off.
I feel like guys will make that mistake though, where they may handle it a bunch and then be like, well, goddamn, nothing hit it for 2 weeks.
You dropping pear in there, and all of Daryl's deer are like, well, fuck me to tears. What the hell is this shit?
Yeah, but minimize that. I think that's the biggest tip for.
That's a good tip.
Putting that out though.
Yeah.
Just minimize touching the block because it's different. It's a different game.
You think about scent control on everything else you do out there. Why wouldn't you do it?
Yeah, like
point.
just be easy with that because that
Yeah.
is one thing
Well, I
that
mean, you
will
gotta-
elongate the
You
time.
get a lot of foreign odors on your hands.
And you're
Touch-
sweating.
That's
And
done.
Yeah, in the
July.
summertime. Yeah.
And you're putting
You know,
it.
some foreign odors.
You're
Yeah, they don't
putting
wanna
it
taste
right
what-
where they
It's on there.
Yeah.
are putting their nose.
Or maybe they do.
Yeah,
I
that's
don't know.
true. Yeah, their face is on that.
Yeah.
Doug, you're going to lick that lick brick right now.
Let me
Has someone licked it before?
No,
No, it's in the wrapper.
open.
No, like
Fresh.
brand
just
new.
a brick in general.
I've licked it.
How was it?
It's delicious. I love it.
How much should I lick it? Should I really get in there?
I think you need to go
I mean,
full
can
shaft.
you not go in there?
Like full tongue?
Full shaft?
I want you
full-
to
If
waller the center of that thing out.
Oh my
if you're
god.
going,
Don't
you
touch
gotta
it with
go.
your hands. Don't touch it with your hands.
Don't touch it with your hands.
Oh hey Eric.
Hey, Eric.
You're in a weird time.
Eric walked in and was like, "You're hitting with your
You
hands."
want to share my mic with me?
Eric, lick
Grab a
this.
chair.
Lick this.
No, you gotta do it first, Doug. You're the.
Oh my god, he did.
He went full tongue.
Now
Gotta do the other side.
He
after
licks the
Eric.
same spot.
like salt.
Looks like the emoji with his
Yeah, just
tongue
lick the
out.
same spot, though.
Ooh, thick tongue.
Yeah.
Thick tongue.
His tongue's bigger than I thought it was.
Got girth.
Are you ready?
Wow.
That was a big one.
I think I beat him.
Well, yeah, your tongue is 3 times bigger than mine.
Wait a minute.
Fucking
Wait a minute.
weirdo.
You need to get this. That does not look like a tongue.
That's deer tongue.
What
You
it
like
tastes
it?
like, Doug?
It really wasn't that bad. Just salt.
Why is, God,
Taste
you
the pear
all.
though.
I'm feeling Perry.
Very Perry.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez. All right. On air.
But fortified block. It is our feed as close as we could get it in a block.
Mm-hmm.
And Joe or Blake said, it's got the nitro in it. So and how we mix the nitro in our feeds and how we mix it in these blocks is per ton rate. So it's everything in here is exactly to the same rates with the nitro. So you're getting the same amount of nitro per ton. Mixed in initially before it goes through the press and all that kind of stuff. Obviously, we have this in pear and cherry. It's going to be both of our flavors.
Is there like a time you'd rather use the block over the feed, or is
I can say for me,
He can say for him.
if I can't get in and out of a spot, like if I got rain coming and say it's a spot I can't get into, I'll put the block out as well as feed at the same time. So I just try to stretch feed out. It can take rain a little better than feed can, and it can take moisture a little better than feed can. So if you have spots that you can't really access well, that's where I utilize the blocks more than anything. Just to
And
elongate it.
Good tip.
A lot of people ask about molding of the blocks because that's always a concern. Like my consumption rate goes up when it gets rained on.
Absolutely.
Like
Oh,
they
really?
come in
100%.
and smash it
100%.
after a rain.
I'll tell you.
Just eat the ground around
Tell
it
you a
too.
story from this past season. I don't have my phone in here, so I can't show you. I've got the pictures to show you, but I was feeding, and I was having these blocks out, and that part of the farm has a tendency to flood, but it was pretty dry, so it was good. Well, we ended up getting an unbelievable amount of rain, creek rose, and flooded it all out. And I mean, I had a time lapse for about 12 hours. This water you could see it coming up in there. And then when it finally flooded over the feed, the deer were still coming because they were imprinted on that spot, obviously. But I've got pictures. I had the block I had there. I've got pictures of deer going under the water.
He had those snorkeling.
I'm telling you, they're up to their eyeballs, and right where the block's at.
No shit.
And then some of the pictures, as it started going down, you could see through the water a little bit. You could see, and I actually went to the farm to even look at it to say, is that really where the block's at? And I mean, it had turned to it was under 2 or 3 feet of water, but it had gone down a little bit, and like you could see, it turned to mush under there, and they were still going to it.
No kidding.
it's like an Oreo and milk?
It was crazy. I don't dunk my head in the
Bingo.
milk.
Get down in there.
Damn, Jordan, that was a good one.
So
But if you had a giant Oreo and a giant tub of milk, you might.
You would.
Right.
if I had to get to it,
You had to get to it. You had no other option.
But
I'm going in.
I mean, that's not really something that
That's a good. That's a fun story though.
it's
Fun
a fun
side quest.
story. I mean, it was
Yeah.
something that if you didn't see it, you'd be like, all right, whatever. But
I had a buck brunch plot flood. I have to. I can show you these trail cam pictures. So I had my plot, and I knew it was going to flood because we're getting a lot of water. I got a spot down by the creek. Did I show you these pictures?
I don't think so.
I thought I did. They're quite funny. All right, hold on. Okay, so here is photo. So I was like, it's flooding down there. My black gates are disappearing. I know it. Well, what happened was I got a tree fell in the flood and made a splash and set the camera off, and I got 2 pictures in a row.
Wow.
So this is
Was that over the plot?
yeah, and here's the next photo. At night, a raccoon swimming through the buck brunch, and then it was like 2 days later. Where's that photo? This is on the other side. 2 days later, water's gone. You can tell everything's wet. Boom.
Perfect.
That's like 2 days later from that water. But my buck brunch plot, I did frost seed it in clover, and I don't know what happened. We'll see what happens if anything stayed. I'm guessing everything got washed out.
Ask your neighbor downstream.
Yeah, it's like, what's a clover situation looking like?
There's clover everywhere.
There's clover everywhere.
He's playing it all.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
You can taste test this one too, Daryl.
You can't. This one might actually taste pretty good.
Oh, really?
Like a granola bar.
It's kind of, hey, shut that door for us, Eric.
Take an actual bite out of it.
Nature Valley.
Make Doug cut off a chunk of that, baby. You're going to do it, aren't you?
Eat a chunk.
Oh, I can smell it.
Yeah, eat a chunk, Doug.
Smell it
Do it for
already?
the people, dude.
I'll
Do it
eat-
for our Patreon members.
I'll eat a little piece.
Jordan's in.
Jordan will eat one.
Now you gotta do it with me. Now I'll just do it.
Just munch it up.
Slab off a piece of that bad boy.
Oh my god.
It's like summer sausage.
There you go, Jordan.
It looks
Take a bite
really-
of that.
It looks really
Wow.
satisfying. Eat that whole fucking thing.
I'm not gonna eat the whole thing.
Eat the whole thing, Jordan.
You have to break a tooth off.
It's actually not that bad.
Really?
It's like a burnt
Granola bar.
Granola bar. I could eat a little more.
He said, "I would eat more."
He's hungry.
I can eat a little more.
It's really not that bad. You can taste the pear. Not as bad as you'd think.
That's the same look he gave me when he ate my trade show trout.
I think the coolest
That's
thing.
not a good thing.
I think the coolest thing about
Yeah, we're
I
not
doubted
eat
you from
those.
the beginning.
Oh, not eat that trout.
bad?
I think the coolest thing about it is like you were talking about, like it has nitro in it, it has everything. So like guys look at price point always. That's one rebuttal I always get from guys is like price point on everything Big Tine does. And you look at the feed and the block too. Like you're getting the mineral and the feed and the attraction level of the pear scent or the cherry scent all in one
It does taste like
for
pear.
one thing. So that to me is what's really cool about
Okay.
the
It tastes like something a hippie tried to
Why'd you
make
cut
you
a bigger
eat
piece
at a
off?
festival.
block. At a festival.
Eat these. I made it. It's like, no, you dirty hippie. What is that?
Sitting
It's
outside of
not
a Grateful
that bad.
Dead concert,
Yeah.
serving up Big Time block.
Outside of their tent. Yeah, try this, man. It's organic.
Yeah, pick the corn out at least.
No, I ate the corn.
You'll see that later.
It's a space peanut.
Jordan went back for second. They call them Boeing bombs.
Nobody's pooping for a week.
We're literally all eating Big Tine fortified deer block.
If I was like compared to what deer normally eat, this has got to be
Oh,
like
10 times
so
better.
good.
Hey,
Gourmet
If the
shit.
deer eat it,
blowing
we
their
eat it.
tits
Yeah.
clean off.
I'd have to. It almost blew mine off.
My time's growing.
Daryl, you gonna have any? You gonna have any, Daryl?
Why not?
Yeah, I'm full.
I was not.
It's actually like not bad.
It's really not that bad.
That's what I mean.
You know what's funny is this just seems like something Daryl would do for us dumbasses to eat. Just watch this.
Every
Gotta
time
test
yeah,
your
with
product.
Big Tine, how come every time they come here we got to eat something?
Watch this. I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna get them to eat the product.
Yeah.
While I watch.
Remember when
Yeah,
Steve,
you had a bet with your wife. Watch him get all these
Steve took a shot
dumbasses
of
to eat
happy
this.
hour?
Oh, brutal.
What?
Happy
Steve
hour.
took a shot of happy hour one year.
God,
When we first came out with the liquid.
Yeah, he didn't just take a sip. He took a shot.
that stuff did not taste like it smelled.
No, it did not. Dude, it smelled so good.
Not
so
one
good.
bit.
Like, Steve, it can't be that bad. It smells great.
Not at all.
Well, we can say we've all consumed Big Time.
Did you eat it?
Yeah. I mean, it's not bad. It's like
It really is not
you
that
know,
bad.
an Oregon Trail or something.
It's like
I might just leave a brick in my truck.
Like, if I was starving to
Nice
death,
snack
I would
on
eat the
my own.
block.
yeah, you
I
can.
would for sure eat the block if I was starving.
Survival tip: keep one of these in your trunk.
Yeah, right. It's like
You hungry, pal?
It honestly it's not far off from a fucking Cliff Bar.
No.
Actually, not.
Can you
That's
bring us-
exactly what it
I
tastes like, a
brought-
Cliff
can you
Bar
make us little
almost.
snack size ones?
Yeah.
You put a bar for me.
Little bitty ones.
It,
For the stand?
it honestly looks like a Cliff Bar.
If you had a little
It
chocolate
smells like
chips
one,
in there,
really.
chocolate chips would change things.
Ooh, Big Tine.
Blueberries?
Yeah, can you put
Cranberries and shit.
like some Oreos?
Jordan said it, but you know, when I put that little piece in my mouth, and this is in our mouths, I tasted the pear.
You can taste the pear.
Yeah, for sure.
So,
All right, so we ran Fortified Deer Blend and Pear yesterday. We were doing a bunch of the filming for the commercial for this year and everything. So that is a brand new bag. I want you to open that and stick your nose in it.
Okay, let me give me
Eat
that.
some
You
of
can't
that.
play with it, but you can stick your nose in it.
I can't actually use it. Okay,
Yeah, that's what I mean.
open this baby. Jordan, you just open it up. Stand it up on the table there and get up all in them.
It might be illegal for Curt to even be around it.
Yeah, there's some Illinois legislator just fucking rolling around right now. He can't get near that.
DNR's looking through the window, just go on, take a bite.
Here, ding, 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 on the window.
Yeah.
I think it's one thing though, like Joe, you talk about like freshness, right? Like it's crucial for that. And
That's huge.
And you guys are really good with. I mean, I understand like shelf life at stores is going to be, you can't really control that for how long it sits there. But realistically, get it all in there. Get all in there. Yeah,
I get that picture.
get in there.
Ready for this?
Wait for it.
actually smells awesome.
It smells super good.
Get on in there. There you go. But I think that's a big thing, right? Like you guys are relatively
good.
fresh.
well, I mean, that's actually a goal of ours.
Yeah.
You know, with our feed, even our blocks. I mean, even though our blocks are having to get made off site, and are triggered, we can't make. We're not. We don't have the luxury to make everything to order because you wouldn't have time. But
Really
we
wrong.
do try to keep.
Good.
Sorry, we do try to keep it. I guess to say as little in stock at a time as we can.
Right.
For that, I mean,
That was the
and
coolest
that's
thing to
always
me.
even when I first came to Big Tine,
Yeah.
that was already a priority that was in place. Was we want the freshest feed that we can make. Sometimes it does catch us, with our pants down. If somebody puts in a big order that we need to ship out, we're like, we have to go into scramble mode because we didn't have enough sitting around. But we at least we can send it out the door knowing that it's as fresh as it's going to get.
I think that's the coolest thing. Like when I came to Big Tine years ago, like I thought that was the coolest thing ever. Was like it was made so recently that it was almost made to order. And I don't want to say that, because it's
Doug just got a whiff
Sorry.
of the pear.
because it's gonna.
It smells so good.
Because it's gonna sit obviously if you buy it from a store in a little while. But even the stuff in the store, I would venture to say isn't that old.
Even if you're buying it in Illinois.
Even if you're buying it in Illinois. Right?
Yeah, weird. It's like the most fresh, actually.
You actually go through the most of it.
I would be curious to see the numbers. I mean, is it significant from like Indiana to Illinois or Iowa to Illinois?
we can't talk about that.
Okay.
I will tell you this much: I used to work at Bass Pro before I started content creation. It was the number one selling item in November was deer corn, and
Yeah.
baiting is illegal in Missouri. So that was.
And I'm
always
sure that's a
hilarious to me.
phenomenon.
To
Every
answer your question,
You got to turn the other
probably
cheek.
without us disclosing,
Yeah, I don't know.
Hold on, Daryl's making a good point.
just go to the stores and see what they're stocking.
Yeah.
Their stock, it's in
It's
there.
there for a reason.
Yeah.
It's in there. It's up to the
when it's stocking,
the only one
we're selling.
liable is the user.
Yeah, I
I
mean,
mean, it's in the stores. Ours and everybody, corn and other
Right.
types of products. It's
listen, whatever.
We got to get into why pear though.
Yeah, okay. 'Cause, my next question was gonna be, that's so good, man. That has Big Tine cherry is like a signature thing. Like you're knocking on cherry's door real aggressively with that.
Yeah,
Like
and
that's nice.
our goal. Like we sat down. What can we do? You have so many blends. We didn't want to make another blend, but how can we up the ante with what we have and turn the tide even more with what we get? We're not trying to take over cherry. Cherry's not going. Cherry Rush is our claim to fame, and that's always going to be a staple. Mm-hmm. But what can we do differently with what we have already? And I mean, how many flavors did we go through? And we were just kind of
there's a lot.
Pineapple.
That's not one of them. No,
It was like orange apple.
Actually,
It was like 8 of them.
actually, know that.
Think about it.
Oh, there was.
There's nothing to think about.
I mean, the vials and everything, but
Doug just had a Tourette's outburst. Pineapple?
We'll have to try that.
Like my fruits.
well, yeah, like what's the significant in pear? I think is what you're trying to get to, right?
yeah. Why? One, there is no pear attractants feed out there. Like, we wanted something new and creative that was effective, and you could be, oh yeah, deer do eat pears. Like, your number one thing is if you Google search the best
What fruit
trees
what are
deer.
deer's favorite fruits? What are, I promise you it'll be 2 or 3. Pear. I could not believe it when we started, because there is a level of developing products that what can we try to be unique, or what can we try to be first to the market with? And it really, as long as we both have been in the industry, it was like, why has nobody done this with pear? I mean, it's fruit tree. I don't know some of the names that of these folks that that sell fruit trees for deer and stuff. It's always you go to their sites. It's one of the ones that they talk about are pear varieties of pear. It's going to be, they talk about it being one of their top sellers. I don't know. I don't understand why it hadn't, but I'm glad that we had this thought, and we could be first.
Yeah.
And
Because we always want to be different. I mean, cherry was so vastly different when we came out, and we wanted to do that again. And pear was kind of like that. Why didn't we think of that moment? But we actually thought of it before anybody. Like, there's already some copycats.
So I mean, it's
around.
like our
Yeah,
cherry.
you know who you are.
Somebody,
Yeah.
there's plenty of cherry
Find
on the
your own
market
fruit.
now from others.
Use pineapple.
One thing that I think that we're fortunate in is like our cherry is truly a proprietary flavor and scent that we worked with the company to get all the melting of aromas and stuff to go into that. So it is unique to us and can only be sold to us. And that's the same thing with the pear that we've developed. We worked with the company, developed it, tested it, said, this was our goals. They sent us samples, but, we tweaked it and so on till we finished got to the final product. And so nobody else is going to have Big Tine's pear.
Yeah.
With cherry, you can go to pretty much any flavor manufacturer and be like, give me your cherry. They've got a cherry flavor.
Mm-hmm.
But I promise you, if I put the two of them aside, you would say something's different. Can
we just call everybody else's pear imposter pear? You know what you're doing. Back off. What can I say?
We'll let you do it.
Yeah, that's right. I was going to say,
You know who you are.
Yeah, you fucking imposter pear, no having creativity bitches. Where you at? Sorry. I don't know.
That's why we partner with you.
Oh, yeah.
That's what we got you for.
Yeah, lean harder into it. Come on, Doug, Eric, Jordan, where you at? Where you got, Jordan?
Pubes.
Stop it.
Yeah, get out of
Get
town.
They're not many words.
Go
but
on,
they're
Use
impactful.
pineapple.
What's that?
They're not many words, but they're impactful.
Oh, when a young boy speaks up,
People listen.
people listen.
Miyagi over here.
Young JJ.
I also will say I've been eating these sunflower seeds out of the bag, and they are really good.
As he pops one in his mouth.
I will say that, like, for me, it was conversion, right? Like, it's always my deer seem to freak out when I give them a new flavor or a new product. And I think it was the easiest conversion over to pear, whether it be in Kansas, western Kansas, or central Missouri, or northwestern Nebraska. Those deer all made a really easy transition to pear.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, hit it just as well as they did cherry. Like, I didn't...
They're probably like, thank God, a different flavor. What is this magic?
I didn't notice a decline at all anywhere across those 3 states that I feed pretty heavy in.
Yeah.
So it was an easy just switch over. We played with the triggered stuff with orange and some other stuff, and it seemed like it just took a little bit more of a transition for those other flavors, where like pear was like, just they were.
No, like what you said, Daryl. It's like if it's one of the preferred fruit trees, like statistically.
And
they're going to like it.
Yeah.
Well, Jeremy's doing a cool test for us up in Iowa. With he put a trough out and he divided it and it's going to be half cherry rush, half pear.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to look at that and, maybe, I mean, it's going to be kind of cool watching deer grow on it, but seeing like a particular deer, does he favor one side?
Yeah, that would be interesting to see. Like,
it's going to be really cool to watch.
Yeah.
That is a good idea.
That's the thing people don't realize. Like for me, as a I have independent contracts throughout the industry, and like for me, what draws me to Big Tine is it's not just a company to sell you stuff. Like they're legitimately trying to change the game. And that's what's enticing to me as far as a company and appealing to me. And I think it's awesome these guys do so much work on the backside to product test. And I'm fortunate enough to be involved in some of it, to where I think it's super awesome that there's a company out there that really cares about you being successful and not so much about just making a dollar.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I think that's the coolest thing about
Yeah, pear didn't come out of thin air.
Right. It wasn't like, we're just going to gimmick them to sell them pear.
Yeah, like pineapple
flavor.
Don't sleep on pineapple.
Don't sleep on pineapple.
Yeah. I've seen deer eat pineapple.
Yeah.
I've seen deer eat Pop-Tarts, so
Pop-Tarts are great.
Frosted Pop-Tart Big Tine.
Damn.
Damn. Boys, what do we think?
It's a lot of info.
You got triggered.
Yeah, I mean,
we got triggered.
Triggered. We did have out last year. Yeah. That was our first, if you will, introduction into pear.
Pop that one, Doug.
But
you've smelled it, but
yeah, we're familiar with the.
It's kind of one the reason we really brought it is just because it does tie into the pear. So pear products we're going to have our Fortified Deer Blend. We will have the pear Fortified Block. We will have the triggered and pear and the lick brick.
Yeah, talk about the lick brick because we didn't even touch on that. For
what it is.
Like, we just licked it and then walked away. But it's kind of cool.
Yeah, I mean, the lick brick is really, it's a simple product. There's not a lot of technology in it other than the flavoring is in there, but it's just it's a salt type brick, and but the good thing is it's a nice grab and go price point. It's convenient. You can throw it in a backpack. You can throw multiple ones in a backpack. You can carry multiples in your hand. And one thing, I think you can get into some strategy with one of these. And what I mean with that is, if you're starting mineral sites, you can drop one right in the middle of your mineral to help kind of spike your good mineral. We talked about that last night. Sometimes people think that mineral is not, it might not be a good mineral because the deer don't hit it.
It's frequent.
It's frequent.
Yeah.
Because if they're not hitting it as frequent, it's because they're getting what they need. They don't have to go back every day or stand around and eat it like salt or something like that.
Yeah.
But this being salt, it does help consume more. But the strategy part of it that I like, and I heard this from somebody else, I won't take credit for this, but is you can go off, like let's just use your farm we went on. You can go off and say, hey, I'm going to dive into this somewhat bedding area, thicket, or I'm going to go deep in the woods somewhere that I don't, it's not convenient. I don't want to go in here a lot because I don't want to disturb. I don't have time to, I don't really want to walk that far all that often. But in today's world, you can hang, go drop one of these back in there, and you can hang a cell camera or just a regular camera and let it soak. If it's not a cell, and you can get intel in the deep, thick heart of your farm where you might not, where you don't want to travel for various different reasons.
Yeah.
And you got something there that they have an option. I'm not saying that every deer just doesn't walk up to it and it's just like anything. It's got to be where they want it, but if they're generally going to hit it. And,
yeah.
It's a good way to take inventory of something that you might not be getting in your feed. A big buck doesn't always hit a feed.
Right.
He might not be hitting your mineral site. He might not be hitting your food plot, or it's just another good way to me to take summer inventory in the deep part, and it's easy to get in there. You know, I wouldn't.
It's a low pressure option to feed.
Yes,
essentially.
Exactly. That's a good way to put it.
For me, like we talked about before, like I always try to have a positive influence on my deer herd when I'm intruding into the property. So back in the day, before I ran cell cams a lot, I was in and out checking cameras and things like that. So I would dump. I mean, it would sound dumb, but I would dump like a small pile of mineral every time I went in there, because I just wanted them to understand when they heard the side by side and they knew I was in there, that I was in there for a positive reason.
Give them a condition.
Yeah, like you condition them like cattle and things like that. And
this guy's not just a smelly asshole. He's
right. He's not. He's not a dick.
He's kind of cool.
He means well.
Pretty
You
cool,
know what I mean?
actually.
Like, he's kind of cool, right? Yeah. But like the lake brick, like I'll break it up, or I may take a whole brick in, and it's an easy way for me to just throw it in a backpack if I got to go walk in there for something, or I got to be on the farm for something, and I can throw it down just as a positive influence. And correct me if I'm wrong. I look at it like we talked about kind of last night. It's the chocolate. It's the sucker for the most part.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not, if you look, like Daryl talked about a little bit earlier, there's a really good mineral that's would almost like be like a granola bar. If you're hungry and you eat a granola bar, it's going to fill you for a while, but eating a granola bar with chocolate on top is going to be a lot better. If you just ate chocolate, you would be hungry again and you would come back. So I think, we talked about the misconception with mineral is that guys think visits mean it's a good mineral. Visits don't necessarily mean it's a good mineral, because they have to come back more. Because
they're not
getting what they need, and they're not retaining it.
Because they're going to eat mineral as they need it.
100. It's
the Flintstone vitamin of feed.
It's a necessity thing that their body draws them to.
It's the Reese's Easter egg, the best one.
Nice.
Yes.
I actually agree with you on that.
Thank you.
Yes.
That
But
is
that's
the
what you
best
gotta
one,
think,
by
like,
far.
like this is going to be the chocolate. This is going to be the sucker. This is going to be the temporary draw you in, get a bunch of pictures. And if that's what guys are needing, if say they got, they're not worried about growing big deer, but they just want pictures, perfect outlet for that, right? You can pack it in and go. So I'll take, for instance, in my situation, I'll do mineral like nitro, and I'll put nitro in that lick. But then every time I'm in and out, I'm putting a half a brick of this or a whole brick of this in, just to give them a little bit of chocolate, a little bit of, you know what I'm saying? Like necessity stuff with it. So there's applications for it.
And you can put it out again. Like I kind of got into the strategy of going back in your hard to read, but you can drop it anywhere you want. And create an inventory tool, a track tent right there to you're not necessarily giving them a lot of nutrition, but you're stopping them. They're going to come to it. They're going to lick it.
Some guys don't care about nutrition. Let's be honest.
That's right.
Right? Like a lot
they
of
want to know what
some
they've
guys
got.
don't care.
Yeah.
They don't care. They just want pictures and they want to be able to kill a deer.
Yeah.
So if that's what you want, like that's the perfect product for you. It's cheap.
Yeah.
It's small. Do it.
I want to have one that sits on the studio table and Doug just gives her a good old wallering out. I want a lick brick with a hole in the middle of it. Like I want to see Doug just go to work on one over like a 20 episode period of time.
20, 5.
You think you'd like
He can't last for 20.
How long would it take you to lick a clean hole right through the middle of that brick?
Hell, I don't know.
The world may never know.
How many licks does it take?
God, it's I don't know. We'll never know. We never really will know, Joe.
Like a clean hole. No.
Or we could know.
I don't know about that.
With a little bit of commitment.
Yeah.
No.
We can find out.
Rub a bald spot with his mustache.
Yeah, he's got mustache rot.
I wouldn't do that.
Salt burn.
It grows thicker.
Yeah, get all the minerals it needs.
Yeah.
Green.
Boys, we covered a lot of info crammed in this one. A lot of fun, a lot of munching, a lot of bag noise, a lot of intern.
No, not that much, but I was here.
Jordan's
You
not
talked
wanting
more.
dinner
Yeah,
now.
he's talked more than
I
ever.
just had a thought. If we're feeding humans Big Tine in Illinois, are we breaking the law?
No.
Okay.
I've been
Nah,
eating it
You're
the
not
whole
wildlife.
time.
Yeah, we're not.
We're good.
Mountain Op supplemental feeds every day in Illinois.
True. Your little hack on Olson was spot on.
Okay, flavor of this week for Mountain Ops. We normally do these at the beginning. Well, we're just starting this. Or maybe we haven't. I don't know where this lies in our program. We're going to start doing flavor of the week, Mountain Ops. Olson Punch, shout out to Dale Brisby. He's the man.
The best flavor.
We put, what did we put in it? Rum? Coconut rum?
Malibu. Yeah.
Coconut rum in with Dale Brisby.
What the hell?
Olson Punch.
Yeah, try that.
You want me to give you one since I'm sitting here?
Oh, if I drank another Ignite, I think my heart.
No. I had an idea the other day. I was watching Django, where the D is silent.
Yeah.
And the one dude orders a sweet tea and bourbon. So I did an Ignite sweet tea and like 2 shots of bourbon in there.
Yeah. Really?
Oh, yeah. You got the sweet, you got the lemon, you got
like
the little burn.
Okay. Fun Mountain Ops hacks that Mountain Ops himself is not going to give you, but we will. We're dumb enough.
We
We'll
got
do
your
it.
back.
We got your back.
Nobody cares about the health benefits Mountain Ops is trying to bring to you.
How can you mix booze with it is what they really want to know.
We've got our new Tropics package when you're dumping liquor in it.
Yeah, it's like, you're trying to make me better? I'm trying to dumb it down. I'm trying to have fun. Dumb and fun's my motto.
Right.
It's like we like our women, dumb and fun. Let's be honest. Jordan, you got anything you want to close out with, buddy?
Come on, Jordan.
No, nothing.
You still eat, Jordan, you still eat.
Quit eating out of the bag.
They gave me the bag. I'm taking it home with me.
Leave some for the deer, would you?
Yeah, that's your bag now.
I'll just be dumping out corn because I eat all the sunflower seeds out of them.
All right.
Yeah, they're mine.
Here first.
That's all I got.
Daryl, thanks, dude. You dropped a lot of knowledge bombs. Sorry we're so dumb.
No, always fun.
I definitely
Dumb and fun, baby. That's what we do.
Yeah, we are.
Doug, thanks for bringing her in
Yeah, at least Doug and Eric showed up.
right at the end.
Right there.
Good to see you guys.
Get the lick brick.
get
Let's
it.
get bricked up.
Okay.
Contest of the
That's
summer.
gonna catch on,
Send us your brick
but-
pics.
I'm going to make it catch on.
No big deal.
Hashtag bricked up. I'm bricked up right now.
Still got to do your photo shoot.
Yeah.
It's going to be a video.
Oof.
Eric,
XXX.
Thanks for coming. Sorry I missed the first 3/4 of it. But hey, I'm here. I'm sure
Hey, you
there's
licked
a
the
lot.
brick. You licked the brick.
Yeah, I licked the brick. I'm sure there's a lot of knowledge drop, but
I didn't hear it.
I didn't hear it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Everyone go buy some PEAR.
Blake.
I got nothing. It's cool stuff. It works. We use it everywhere. And thanks to Daryl for dropping knowledge. I call Daryl probably every other week. I don't know. We talk quite a bit because I have ideas that are just crazy, and Daryl usually puts some logic behind them that makes me feel like I'm not crazy. But I like I said, go back to Big Tine stuff. They do great stuff. It's if you see a product from them, it's got thought behind it. You know what I mean? It's not just thrown out there. So
Yeah, it's not random.
I think that's the biggest thing for me. That
There ain't no
makes it
snake
so-
oil.
Yeah, like it's there for a reason. And there's some logic there, so that's what I got.
Joe?
Man, I just want to give a shout out to your listeners again because I mean we've talked about it so many times. I see all the web orders that we're doing and everything, and I see how much that WCB code's being used. Like it is massive, and we appreciate you guys all. We love you all. We see the return customers coming back. That's huge for us. When you're coming back there's some people I know when they're going to be ordering because they order so much. They have your code on there. So thank you for what you guys do. Thank you to the listeners. Don't forget the PEAR is also on that flat pallet rate. You definitely need to check that out if you're buying feed and tote in bulk.
Flat rate shipping.
Flat rate shipping is $250 anywhere you want to go in the U.S. Down an old dirt road, dead end road, doesn't matter. We're going to ship it to you. I mean, and that 20% off applies to that. So, essentially when you do the math, you're basically getting free shipping on a full pallet. Get a couple buddies together, split it, do it 4-way, however you like to do it. I don't care. We'll get it to you. Don't raise your eyebrows like that. It's not that.
Get yourself some
crispy.
3-way turnips, baby. What's up? Some cuck peas and tubers.
It will still be 3-way turnips.
Oh.
You missed that part earlier. You
I
weren't for that.
must have.
No, thank you guys for the partnership, and being so good to us and putting out good products and putting up with our shit. But yeah, and also the listeners for supporting us and supporting good partners. I think it's easy to recognize that, the old saying, real recognizes real. And if you listen to this whole thing, you're like, what's the code? WCB 2024 at bigtime.com. It works for everything now, doesn't it?
Yeah, everything on there.
Cool. Even the soil test kits?
Soil test kits too.
Cool. Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much.
Hey, man.
This was fun.
Thanks for
Yeah.
having us.
Cool. You know what to do. Go shoot your bow. We love you. Peace.